Foundationally for growing your Medicare business is being able to generate new clients. What we're going to do today is we're going to give you 4 ways that you can generate a new Medicare client this week. All right, well, we're excited to share with you a little bit of information. I'm here, actually, if you can't tell by looking at us, with my brother, Jason Burgess with Senior Plan Advisors. We're going to be talking to you a little bit about what you can do to generate some new Medicare clients. Jason runs Senior Plan Advisors. He's a mentor to a number of agents. So if you're in a place where you're thinking about, maybe I need a mentor, maybe I need somebody, maybe Jason's your guy. So we're going to get into a couple things, Jason. Let's talk about this. Literally, foundationally, whether it's in my business that I'm in or in your business, in insurance business, really the foundation of everything is being able to generate new clients. So let's talk about some ways that people can do that right now. If somebody had to generate a new client this week, what were some of the things that you would do?
One of them would be handwritten notes. I know an agent who has done this for years. He's in a particular rural area, so he works at about a 2-county area with this, and there's generally about 150, 120 people a month turning 65 in those 2 counties. He handwrites a note, personalizes it with a picture of his family, and he's getting about 4 to 5 a month off of those. The key is consistency, but it personalizes it. It's an easy thing to do. It's very reasonable as far as cost, and it's generating a lot of business.
So let's talk about that. How is he finding those people? If he's looking for those names and numbers of the people that are turning that 65 this month, where does he get the data for
He
those?
targets specific months. Any data company can get it. We use US data out of New York City. They've got different contracts and different ways to get it, but we can help with that. Feel free to reach out. We can help get you in contact with who you need to get that. But any data company is going to have where you can give them zip codes or counties and say, I want turning 65 in July, August, September. And they'll give you that list, generally about 5 cents a month. And they'll send an Excel spreadsheet to you with names, addresses, and phone numbers if you want them.
Yeah, I think it's critical, no matter what business you're in, the more personalized, the better.
Yeah.
So handwritten note, as far as whether that could be, are there, if it's handwritten themselves, or are there some systems or some products out there that they could use to maybe systemize that a little bit?
Yeah, we've used send out cards. They'll actually type it up in your handwriting. Very simple, very easy. They're pretty reasonable. You don't even have to fool with it. You just handwrite it out, upload the spreadsheet of the addresses you want it to go to, and it goes out. It's really personal, though. He uses a picture of his family in it, which I think is great. And when you do that, we always try to communicate, I'm a hometown local agent. This is where I make my living, and I'm genuinely interested in getting you through this process.
Right. Is there a specific call to action at the end where you're asking them to call, or is it just something where you're just giving cards in there, or what is it exactly?
It's really pretty, I don't know how you would label it. It's not that hard close.
Yeah.
It's we're here to help. We've helped a lot of your friends, a lot of your family and friends in your area. So you can ask, obviously, if you want the help, we're here to help. And you put in there, I'm an independent broker with all the major companies. So whatever you want to do, we can do. And it does not cost you anything to work with me.
Yeah.
Come experience the help that others get.
Yeah. So, all right, so we got number 1, if we were trying to generate something this week, personalized, handwritten notes, sending those out. What's the second thing that you would possibly do?
Second thing I'd look at is hosting an educational event. A lot of your carriers are going to push you to do sales events. I've never been a big fan of sales events just because the regulations, you got to report everything, and I don't mind regulation, and I have done things that were labeled, quote, sales events, like, I've done different expos and all that, but I love the idea of an educational event. And the reason I do is because you're communicating from the start to people. This is totally educational. In fact, the postcard that I send out says, this is an educational event, no sales activity.
Yeah.
They're already getting sold.
Yeah.
They're getting called on the phone these days. They're getting mail after mail after mail. They're getting solicited left and right. They're even having agents show up at their house, which is a big no-no, by the way.
Right.
Show up at their house. So they're getting solicited. And what we're trying to do is just help educate them.
Right.
So what we do is similar to what we do, we get the data for the handwritten notes of who's turning 65 in a however many county area. And you look at the numbers and you want to make it worth your while. Send them a postcard. And when you do an educational event, obviously contacting them, a big part of it is the location. You want to do I guess you would say, some people have done it in their office and stuff. I don't really like that. You want to do a non-threatening place. Like I do them in the local Chamber of Commerce. They let you rent their room and you give them the location. I do it at a local senior center. If you can get in with a senior center and tell them it's totally educational, a lot of times they'll let you. They probably won't let you come in there and do a sales event, just like the chamber may not. But remember, you're just doing a seminar on educating people on Medicare, and there are 2 options with it. So that's a big key, is the location. And we set it up to where you just come in, and I start the event out by saying, this is totally educational. In fact, you're going to find it's very generic. And the reason you can find it very generic is by law, I'm not going to sell you anything here. So I want you to be at ease. I'm not going to try to sell you anything. I'm going to go over Medicare, the ABCs of Medicare, and your 2 options. And I can't even tell you to take one of my cards in the back if you want it. Now, the laws have changed with educational events now, and we were doing them before COVID, having very good success. We couldn't even set up appointments. Now you can set up appointments. We've tried a couple since then, and because of COVID, it just didn't never work out. So we're planning on getting that back going after this all gets settled down. But you can set up appointments now at educational events for future time.
So let's talk a little bit about that. You kind of mentioned that, hey, you're just going to give them education in that. Roughly, how many cards? What is your really conversion rate? In other words, are you sending? How many people are you sending cards to expect a certain number of people?
So generally for each event, I try to get up to 700 people or 750 people. And that may be in your area. So according to your numbers and where you live, that may mean that you need to go. I try to go 4 months out. So if it's in January, I'm sending cards to people that are turning 65 in April, May, June.
Right.
Trying to get to that 700 number. If you don't have that numbers, you may have to go April, May, June, September, and I stagger it every month and move it every month ahead. But generally, I try to get to about 800 people we send cards to. And each event averages about 12 people.
So about 1.5% return.
Sometimes 22, sometimes 8, but averaging 12, 14.
Right.
I generally get about half to 75% of those folks.
Yeah.
I haven't done one in 2 years because of the pandemic, but I got a call just this week from a lady that said, I came to one of your meetings 2 years ago, I'm now retiring.
Yeah.
Because a lot of these people turn 65 are not going to be retiring yet and going on Medicare. Again, you're just getting in the door with them.
Yeah.
Totally non-threatening, letting them know you love them, you want to serve them, and you're just building that relationship.
So. Good. It's really good. All right, so now we've talked about handwritten notes. Serving the clients, obviously, with a educational seminar. What would number 3 be?
Number 3, I would be following up with your current clients. I believe with all my heart, the best prospecting you can do is loving your current people. They're going to be your bell cows out there. How do you do that? Sending them birthday cards, calling them and checking on them. Let them know you want to do whatever you can, not just with Medicare. How can I help you? How's it going with your prescriptions? Are you okay with your doctor? How can we help you? Any way you can communicate and love on them. Now, some of them are receptive to it, some of them aren't. But what happens when you get a pretty good book of business, you're going to get a good double handful of bell cows out there. They're sending your people left and right.
Right.
And so it's so easy when you get those calls about, you helped my neighbor, you helped my friend, she said you were great. When can I have an appointment? The close rate on referrals, I don't know, 90-something%.
Right.
Unless they don't need me as an agent, they're probably going to do it with us.
Right.
So I really encourage you to build a stronger and better relationship with your current clients. We should be doing that anyways, right? Because we're in the business to help people. Now this can take, some of us do this better by nature, so you may need some mentoring on that. I'd be glad to help you through that, the thinking of it, because it's, when you're serving others, it's a deeper thing than just doing it for the business. But we'd be glad to help you with that if you need help with that. Number 4, what I would do this week is I'd provide lunch for a local referral group. One of these people we've mentioned before that you are building a relationship with. Pharmacies, primary care doctors' offices, money managers, personnel people at big employers who are having people retired, senior centers. Really work on your relationship and serve those employees there. Great way to do it is take them lunch, take them buy pizza, let them know you love them, you're there to help. Obviously you want to communicate to them, you're not there to sell anybody, you're there to help the community and serve the senior community, and you ask them for the opportunity. That's how you build relationships.
So give me a few examples of that. How has that worked for you? How did you just cold call these places? Did you have somebody you knew, or how did it work for you?
Senior centers are great, usually run by local government. It's according to leadership, but they're usually very close to having, quote, insurance agents come in there. So it took me a while, but I just got to know them. I went by there and said, anytime y'all need help with funding on anything, I'm here to help. I told them, I love the senior community. This is how I make my living. Help me to help serve these people in this community. And sooner or later, the lady called me. They needed somebody to buy pizzas for one day. So I took $100, took them pizzas, was able to sit there and talk to the staff a little bit, and they got to know you. And now I'm on the board there in that senior center. Wow. These relationships take time, but that's a good place to start, is take them lunch.
Right.
Shoot them an email or call them. I'm bringing by lunch, no strings attached. I just want to thank y'all for serving our seniors.
Yeah. All right, Jason, wrapping up, we have given some people hopefully some ideas on how they can generate some business. If they're out there and they're curious about some things or maybe might need some additional help, what would you suggest?
I would suggest you're always looking for ways to better serve others. And if you need help with that, obviously that's why we're here to mentor and help you with that. You can tell that our heart is to help folks. So if you need help with that, feel free to reach out. We'll be glad to get on the phone with you. No obligation. See if we can add some value to you and help you out. We're here to help.
Good stuff. Take care and we'll talk to you soon.